The cafe orbited Neptune's largest moon, a crystalline structure suspended in the void where the wealthy and powerful conducted their most delicate affairs. Burak adjusted his collar for the third time, watching the blue giant planet rotate slowly through the panoramic viewport. He'd been set up on countless blind dates before, but never one that required 3 security clearances and a neural scan. When Melissa entered, the entire establishment fell silent. She wasn't just beautiful, she was legendary. The Empress of HFY, the Terran Dominion, ruler of 47 colonized systems, commander of fleets that had broken the Zarketh hive mind. Her silver hair caught the reflected light of Neptune like captured starlight, and her eyes, those famous violet eyes, held the weight of civilizations. Behind her floated a medical pod. Inside, suspended in translucent gel, was a creature that made Burak's breath catch. Scales of iridescent gold covered its serpentine body, though they hung limply now. Wings that should have stretched 10 meters lay folded and motionless. The dragon, because what else could it be, had its eyes closed, its chest rising and falling with mechanical regularity. "Your Majesty," Burak stammered, standing so quickly his chair scraped against the floor. I wasn't expecting." "My son?" Melissa's smile was gentle as she guided the pod to rest beside their table. "Yes, this is Kyrith. And before you ask, yes, I bring him everywhere." Burak sat slowly, acutely aware of every eye in the cafe watching them. "I meant no disrespect, but a blind date? With your paralyzed son present?" "That's exactly why he's here," Melissa said, ordering a simple coffee with a gesture. Her guards, hulking figures in adaptive armor, took positions at a discreet distance. "You're wondering what kind of test this is?" The thought crossed my mind. She laughed, and the sound was surprisingly human for someone who commanded star systems. "It's not a test, Burak. It's honesty. You see, when you're the Empress, everyone wants something from you. Power, position, access to terraforming permits, military contracts, but nobody wants this." She rested her hand on the pod's surface. "Nobody wants the responsibility, the inconvenience, the reality of my life." Burak looked at the dragon, at Kyrith. Up close, he could see the faint scars along the creature's flanks, the neural interfaces embedded at the base of his skull. "What happened to him?" "The Battle of Proxima's Gate," Melissa said, her voice softening. "We were fighting the Zarketh Queen herself. Kyrith was only 50 years old, barely an adolescent for his kind. He took a neural disruptor blast meant for me. It severed his connection to his body from the neck down." She traced a finger along the pod's edge. "The aliens thought dragons were just Earth fairy tales. They learned otherwise, but the cost." "I remember that battle," Burak said quietly. "I was an engineer on the Defiance. We all heard the roar that shattered the Queen's flagship. That was him?" Melissa nodded. "Humans aren't the only ones capable of defiance. We uplifted the dragons when we found them hibernating in the Arctic ice, remnants of an age when Earth was wilder. They chose to fight beside us. Kyrith chose to save me." Burak studied the Empress. Beneath the legendary figure, he saw something raw and real, a mother's pain, a warrior's guilt. "So you bring him on dates too? What? See if they'll run?" "To see if they'll see him," Melissa corrected. "Most don't make it past the introduction. They smile politely, make excuses, and disappear into bureaucratic fog. They want the Empress, but they don't want the woman who spends her nights reading to her paralyzed son, who's bankrupted 3 research stations trying to find a cure, who rescheduled the Andromeda Summit because Kyrith's life support systems were failing." She met his eyes directly. "They don't want the reality that humanity's greatest strength, our bond with the impossible, our defiance of limitation, comes with price tags they're unwilling to pay." Burak was quiet for a long moment. Then he stood, walked to the medical pod, and placed his palm against its surface. Inside, Kyrith's eyes opened, bright gold, filled with an intelligence that transcended species. "Can he hear me?" Burak asked. "Every word," Melissa whispered. "Then I need him to know something," Burak said. I was on the Defiance when you saved us all, Kyrith. When the Queen's weapon was tearing through our hull, when we thought it was over, your roar gave us hope. We heard a dragon defending humanity, and we remembered what we were fighting for. He swallowed hard. I've lived 16 years because of you, because you paid the price I didn't have to. A single tear tracked down Melissa's cheek. Your Majesty. Burak turned to her. I'm just an engineer. I don't have fleets or political connections, but I know something about broken systems and impossible repairs. I've spent my career making things work that shouldn't. And if you're looking for someone who sees Kyrith not as an inconvenience, but as the reason humanity survives, as family, then I'm here. Not for the Empress. For you both. Melissa stood, her hand finding his. Do you know what humanity's real secret is, Burak? Why we've conquered the stars while others fell? Tell me. We don't abandon our wounded. We don't leave our family behind. We carry them forward, no matter the cost, because that's what makes us human. That's what makes us worthy of the stars. She smiled, and it transformed her from Empress to simply Melissa. The Zarketh couldn't understand it. Neither can most of the galaxy. But dragons understand. And maybe, just maybe, you do too. Inside, the pod Kyrith's eyes gleamed with something that might have been approval, or perhaps hope. So, Burak said, grinning despite himself. Second date? I have some theories about neural regeneration that might interest you, and Kyrith, if he's willing to let a mere engineer try. Melissa laughed, genuine and bright. He says you're either very brave or very foolish. In my experience, Burak replied, squeezing her hand, the best of humanity is always both. Outside the cafe windows, Neptune turned in its eternal dance, indifferent to the small moments that defined empires. A woman, a man, and a dragon who refused to accept that some things couldn't be fixed. Because that was humanity's greatest defiance, the absolute stubborn refusal to leave anyone behind, even when the entire galaxy said it was impossible.